This is KGW News at noon.
Today at 2 o'clock, the man accused of mauling a senior citizen on a MAX platform in Gresham will be in court for the very first time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brenda Braxton. Now, before we talk more about what happened, a warning. The details of this crime are horrendous. This happened here early yesterday morning near Northeast 8th and Cleveland Avenue. Gresham police say when they got there, they found 25-year-old Corin Kramer on top of the 78-year-old victim. Officers say Kramer had chewed off the man's ear and part of his face. His injuries were so severe you could see his skull. The MAX riders we talked to were in disbelief.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's weird what the world coming to. I mean, people do bizarre things.
That was here? I don't think I'm gonna be coming here anymore. That's kind of scary.
The 78-year-old victim is expected to survive. Kramer recently moved here from Georgia. Police say they're looking into whether he was on drugs during the attack. The Washington State grad student who's accused of killing 4 students from the University of Idaho is on his way back to Moscow to face charges. 28-year-old Brian Kohberger could be back in Idaho tonight or tomorrow. Shortly after the murders, Kohberger drove cross-country with his father. They traveled from Pullman to his hometown in eastern Pennsylvania. This new body cam footage shows Kohberger getting pulled over in Indiana. He was driving the same white Hyundai that Moscow police were looking for. Reporter Sebastian Robertson has the latest on the investigation.
Brian, what did you do?
In a protected vest and in the company of several armed deputies.
Brian, did you do it?
28-year-old Brian Kohberger, a suspected murderer, is led into a Pennsylvania courthouse.
When you talk about the service of a high-risk warrant for someone who's committed or alleged to have committed 4 homicides, there's nothing routine about that.
Kohberger, a Washington State University grad student studying criminal justice, was arrested at his parents' Pennsylvania home early on Friday, December 30th. He's accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students, stabbing them to death on November 13th. Kohberger did not fight extradition, a court ordering him to Idaho within the next 10 days. Once he's back in state, a probable cause affidavit will be released, which will provide more details about the case, including what law enforcement knew and for how long.
I definitely believe that one of the main reasons the defendant chose to waive extradition and hurry his return back to Idaho was the need to know what was in those documents.
In mid-December, Kohberger and his father drove from his apartment in Pullman to his family home in Pennsylvania. New body camera video shows the two were pulled over while driving through Indiana in a white Hyundai Elantra, the same model that police previously said was in the area at the time of the murders. Kohberger was given a verbal warning. 2 weeks later, he was arrested on suspicion of murder.
Myself being a member of this community, it does bring a bit of closure and healing to myself and my family, knowing that we've found this individual and they're going to be brought to justice.
An investigation that led them thousands of miles east. Though to surviving family members, the work is not done.
I think my daughter, we had that ceremony, and I think we've done everything that we can at this point in time. And now our next mission is really to find justice.
That was Sebastian Robertson reporting. Of course, there has been a lot of interest and misinformation in this case. And in response, yesterday, Moscow police issued a statement reading in part, Moscow police will no longer be communicating with the public or media regarding this case. The Multnomah County DA has decided to refile charges against 3 teenagers accused of setting dozens of fires on Mount Tabor. Police arrested them in September, but a judge later dismissed the charges. At the time, the DA's office called the case a pending investigation. Then last month, a grand jury considered evidence leading to new charges. Samuel Perkins, Malik Harris, and Wayne Chen are facing charges including arson and reckless burning. The fires at Mount Tabor had neighbors really shaken up. We talked to one woman who watched as flames got dangerously close to homes.
A good chunk of our hillside, which is the park property, was on fire. there were some of our neighbors who were going on nightly patrols up at the park just because they were really worried.
As for a motive, in an interview with a fire investigator, one of the teens admitted he didn't know why they were starting the fires. He said they were just being stupid. The DA's office believes these teens may be responsible for several other fires in southeast and northeast Portland. Well, this huge fire is closing several streets in downtown Portland today near Southwest 10th and Clay. Flames gutted the old Portland Korean church, but the building has been vacant for years. The fire started around 5:30 last night. Crews had it under control an hour later. This noon, there are concerns the building could collapse. That's why Southwest Clay remains closed to both cars and pedestrians between 11th and Park Avenue. Southwest 10th is also closed from Columbia to Market Street.
It's horrible. I mean, it was such a beautiful building, historic, and, you know, it's degraded steadily over the years, and now this. It's really extremely sad.
The same building also caught fire in September of 2020. No one was hurt in last night's fire, but 5 people living next door have been forced out of their home. Investigators are still working to determine how that fire started. The weather is making some headlines today. Let's check in with Rod. You're tracking wind and rain.
Yeah, already windy over on the east side. Rain getting ready to move up into the valley in the coming hours. Big low offshore is what is driving all this. This is mostly light rain from Tillamook down to Newport. Salem now reporting light rain. So far we're dry in Portland, but all that is moving up to the north. The biggest headlines are on this graphic. From Battleground through Canby and out through Forest Grove and Hillsboro, a wind advisory begins at 3 o'clock this afternoon. This is for strong east winds that will continue to increase, shooting out of the Columbia River Gorge. Also, this is for tonight in the gorge from about Hood River eastward through the Dalles. The potential of a little bit of snow, maybe a couple inches, and a little bit of freezing rain. We'll watch that. Currently, winds out near the gorge gusting east to 36 miles per hour. Those winds will only get stronger as we go through this afternoon, and especially as we go into tonight. Cloudy skies at Stoller Family Vineyards Estate down in Dayton. Portland's at 44. It will be raining in the coming hours, 44 at 4 o'clock. But then that passes, and just some showers around this evening. But those east winds will be blowing. Your complete forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Rod. Well, for the second day in a row, Republican lawmakers in Congress are trying to elect a new Speaker of the House. In the 4th round of voting earlier this morning, California Congressman Kevin McCarthy once again did not get the 218 votes needed. This is a live look at the House floor, where a 5th round of voting is being tallied, and it appears that McCarthy is yet again falling short. This is the first time in 100 years that the party in power has failed to elect a speaker on the first day of elections. Reporters caught up with McCarthy and former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, before today's vote.
What is your game plan today?
Excuse us.
How are you going to get more votes, sir?
We're sitting, we're talking.
Has there been any progress?
I think we get to an agreement.
Are Democrats going to have a plan today for what to do on the floor if this vote keeps going?
It would be a courteous thing to do for the families is for them to have somebody, the dean swears in the speaker, somebody could swear in the members so that at least their children could be there when they get sworn in, and then they can go home to school and the rest.
About 20 members of the Freedom Caucus are still refusing to support McCarthy. Mayor Ted Wheeler is shaking up the city's bureau assignments, giving commissioners new portfolios. This will help Portland transition to its new city manager form of government in 2025. Wheeler will be in charge of administration. He'll oversee the Office of Management and Finance, the Budget Office, Portland Police, and the Joint Office of Homeless Services. Commissioner Carmen Rubio is now in charge of Housing, Development Services, and Prosper Portland. Mingus Maps is heading up the Water Bureau, Environmental Services, and PBOT. Dan Ryan is in charge of what the mayor calls culture and livability, which includes Portland parks. And Portland's newest commissioner, Renee Gonzalez, will head up public safety, including Portland Fire and the Bureau of Emergency Communications.
I believe in this opportunity before us. I'm excited for the next 4 years. And so thank you again, and let's get to work.
A big round of applause for Jessica Vega Peterson. She woke up the new Multnomah County Chair today. She was officially sworn in last night. Yesterday, she met with Mayor Wheeler and the governor-elect Tina Kotek to discuss how they're going to work together to address the housing crisis here. Peterson's 4-year term began on January 1st.